Welcome to Season 2 of Our World with Norman Busigu. Now the premise of this show is quite simple. I'm going to report on and explore important topics affecting real people like you and me. Now within this there are two aims. Firstly, to have a positive social impact, and secondly, to inform. Now in this episode, I'll be exploring the current state of play that exists with youth clubs. Why, you ask? Because their very existence across the country are coming seriously under threat. According to research highlighted by The Guardian, spending on youth services across England and Wales has been cut by almost 70% in real terms in less than a decade. This episode will explore the implications of these spending cuts, the consequences of COVID-19 on youth clubs, and also, in some instances, how youth club decline has correlated in knife crime rise. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. So, what inspired me to explore this topic? Well, living on a council estate during these crazy COVID times, I've seen and know of so many young people while school was closed due to lockdown that had no communal safe space beyond the home to go to do productive things. Now, all of this got me thinking very deeply about Roundwood Youth Centre in Harlesden, which is just in front of me here. Now, I'm very familiar with Roundwood Youth Centre as I did my fair share of volunteering here many years ago to help and support young people on various programmes and initiatives centred around their development. Opened in 2012, Roundwood Youth Centre is a state-of-the-art youth centre costing £5 million to make, inclusive of all kinds of exciting resources such as a media suite, IT suite, dance studio and much more. Youth clubs, like Roundwood, are an extremely important resource in this country. Now, youth clubs, when properly functioning, serve as supporting pillars of a community which can greatly aid the development of its young people, particularly to those in the working class, as it can provide them with new skills, new opportunities, a safe space, and ultimately help to steer them away from things such as poverty and crime. Now, there's growing concern in modern times that youth clubs are increasingly underfunded and undervalued. Now, it's arguable that in environments such as Harlesden, so where I am today, that youth clubs and youth services are needed the most because they can be considered as challenging or volatile. Now, I say this because, well, believe it or not, according to the My London Police stats from July of 2019, Harlesden was labelled as the most dangerous place to live in the northwest London borough of Brent. So it's arguable that environments such as these need youth services and youth clubs the most. Over the last decade, spending cuts on youth services have been so severe that youth services in some areas, including Luton and Slough, have completely lost their funding. Between 2012 and 2014, according to research by Unison, 2,000 jobs were lost in youth services, 350 youth centres closed, and a staggering 41,000 youth service places were lost, with at least 35,000 hours of outreach work by youth workers getting cut. Now, youth clubs have been regarded by some as working in the sector as vital in the fight against knife crime. However, with youth clubs across the country receiving less funding and some having to close their doors altogether, this in some instances has resulted in knife crime rises. Have a think about this. Research by the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Knife Crime, published in May of 2019, found that areas suffering the largest cuts to youth spending on services such as social clubs and youth workers had seen bigger increases in knife crime. Now, it's arguable that without immediate action to significantly reinvest money and resources back into youth clubs and youth services, this could lead to whole groups of young people in society losing the support systems they need in order to flourish, and as a result falling through the cracks and turning to and embracing things such as street and gang culture, criminal activity, and things of that nature. Now, unfortunately, COVID-19 has accelerated this trend of youth clubs and youth services receiving less funding and less attention. Yes, according to data from The Guardian in July of 2020, a third of youth clubs in London warned that they risked closure. While speaking on the topic, here's what London Mayor Sadiq Khan had to say. At a time when we need our amazing community groups and local charities to provide support for young people more than ever, the impact of COVID-19 means many are struggling to survive. Now, although the information throughout this episode has been rather discouraging, there are promising signs that things are improving right now and that they will continue to improve with respect to youth service spending and youth clubs. For example, the government last year in 2020 promised to invest £500 million in youth services. And also, City Hall and the London Violence Reduction Unit invested £2.1 million into projects for young Londoners throughout summer and autumn of 2020. The data I presented throughout this episode has been worrying to say the least. We arguably are now at a crossroads with the life or death of youth clubs. However, now could be the perfect time to rebrand and revitalise their very purpose on how they serve young people in this generation. The young people of today are a lot more entrepreneurial and tech savvy, thanks to the widespread accessibility to things such as smartphones. Investing more money into modernising these clubs to help young people learn skills such as coding, for instance, can really help to nurture the potential and curiosity of young people. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Our World with Norman Busigu, and until the next episode, stay safe and stay blessed.